Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another challenge video on Bloons Tower Defense. Today's challenge has been selected by Crazy Comets, and she suggested that we go to Chimps mode and try to defeat it by only using towers that don't have monkeys in them. Now, kind of couldn't have done this without a hero, so what I did was I chose Churchill to be my hero, because with that skin, kind of looks like it's a machine rather than it's an actual monkey in the tank. So that was what we're going to do. We're going to use Churchill, and then that's the only other rule, is that there cannot be a monkey on the screen. Any other towers are fine tack shooters and everything else. As you can see, my first attempt was an absolute failure.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes.
The first attempt kind of went badly because you might have seen there, it was too heavily stacked at the front. So when we got to round 98, we just kind of got annihilated. To be honest, 97 was ridiculously tough as well, and I died multiple times before that. I didn't intend to die. I had intended to kind of play on and try and win it, and I wasn't going to black border it. And I've got to be honest, this second attempt here well, you'll see how it goes. This one didn't end up being a black border attempt either, because I did die at the late stages. I've got to say, when it comes to Chimps is actually very, very difficult when you get to the later stages there. On the round 95 pluses, I don't know how anyone could do it. But I'm going to kind of speed ahead some of the rounds where nothing really happens, because we did start our game off by using a tack shooter and a spike factory at the back to mop up anything that we missed. And as you can see, we don't really have camo detection yet, so our tack shooter at the front there takes pretty much everything out. Churchill comes round at around 25, but nothing else kind of a note, so sped through it there so that you didn't have to kind of endure that torment. For anybody who doesn't know who is watching this, you probably do know because you probably watch other Bloons YouTubers, but Chimps mode is the hardest mode that you can possibly do in Bloons Tower Defense. Chimps mode stands for no continues. Obviously, what's kind of to said there is that if you die, that's it, you can't continue. You can glitch it a little bit by escaping and going back in. That's what a black border is, if you don't escape out and then come back in. So if you're about to die, you can quit out of the game and come back in. The round will restart. If you die, that's it though, there is no backup to that. But you will get a black border if you don't escape and come back in. I think possibly they probably shouldn't have even allowed you to do so, but then if the game crashes, I can see where it's a bit unfair. You kind of get where it's coming from. You also have no hearts, which you can see in the top left, we only have one heart. Just a comment there on the strategy we're using here, still we don't have any camo defense, which we're going to get fixed in a minute when we get our camo village up and running, but right now we're still relying on that spike factory at the back there, which is doing a great job, got to say, and is going to get us quite the way through the game without any problems. But back to Chimps, so CH, no continues, no hearts. I is no income, so you can't use any banana farmers, you can't use anything that would usually generate money. Obviously you're getting the normal money for popping balloons, or else it would literally be impossible, but you can't generate any extra income. The M is for no monkey knowledge, which again is pretty simple. All of the monkey knowledge that you can acquire through the game, you can't use it in Chimps mode. P is for powers, no powers. I personally never use powers anyway. This part here, round 40, was a little bit dicey. The Moab was kind of easy to take out, but it was inside. A little bit worrying there, but it's okay. We can start to build our defense a little bit. I just finished the Chimps explanation last, so the S is for no selling either, which kind of makes it a little bit difficult. If you misclick and put a wrong tower down, there's nothing you can do about it. Or if your towers become worthless and you just kind of want to spend, then there's nothing you can do about it, you can't sell. So that's what Chimps mode is, and that's what we're aiming to beat in this particular video by using no monkeys on screen. So kind of the towers that we decided that are okay is a tack shooter, which you can see we've got at the front. You can have a village, which we can have there. I decided on the hero being acceptable because I think it would have been impossible to do. Spike factory, as you can see, we've got at the back, and any variations of these upgrades as well. I think there's another couple of towers as well, like bomb shooter, which I'll be putting on there as well. Obviously no monkey there. Now, the tactic that I'm going for, and I'm trying to save up money as best as I can, the Maelstrom was going to be used for most of the early games, pretty much getting us up to round 80 was my plan, because obviously the Maelstrom has infinite pierce, is able to go through everything. The problem is damage at late game is pretty difficult to do. So alongside that is a preemptive strike submarine. You'll see me trying to put this in later in the game, because if we can get a preemptive submarine, that's going to be our kind of defense for the bad balloon when we get to the final rounds, when we get to round 100, should we be able to get there, as well as being able to do pretty much a lot of damage for any of the different blimps that are coming in on us. So that's my idea, and when you get there, you'll see that a preemptive strike doesn't actually have a chimp in it. All of the other towers before that, you can see it, even like the submarine, all of those have chimps, you can see, but when it comes to preemptive strike, for some reason it doesn't have a chimp in it. So that for me is going to be our plan. Okay, so you've got the general idea of what we're doing. We're playing on chimps mode, and the early game, the plan is to use a tack shooter with its ability, spraying everybody, taking everybody out. Late game, we're going to use preemptive strike, using that's ability to take out any of the blimps, whatever it may be, whether it be ZMG, whatever it is, even the bad balloon. When it comes in, it's going to automatically shoot a large power rocket at it. Not enough to kill it, but enough to seriously weaken it. And also, you might already know this as well, but it has got enough of its ability to be able to take out a bad balloon from highly damaged. You can't do it obviously from full damage, but from highly damaged down to 0, which means that we don't have to deal with any of the innards of the bad balloon when it comes in. So that's kind of the idea of what we're doing. The minuscule details, the kind of plan that I want to do is have a front heavy kind of plan there, using lots of bomb shooters, using lots of tack shooters, and have them so they have the position to be able to shoot on the first curve, so they've got plenty of time to shoot. But if they don't manage to get them, then they can have the second loop to go around as well. Once it gets past halfway, it has the opportunity to shoot again. Obviously, like I say, the main damage aspects of it is from the preemptive strike and from the tack shooter. But everything else that's placed there, it has its monkey village. It uses that ability to be able to shoot any tower, so black balloons we don't have to worry about. And we also don't have to worry about the very fast black blimp balloon that comes round. That one is immune usually to bomb damage or anything as such, but because we have our village on its middle tier, that means it has the ability to shoot through anything. So usually balloons that are resistant to towers of certain types will no longer be resistant to it. They just take the damage into account and don't have that ability to stop the balloon shooting at it. So as you can see now, we're into round 84. This is where I was kind of thinking, hopefully we've got enough money to do a permaspike at the back. Permaspike would have really saved us, so that if anything got through our defense, which honestly I wasn't really thinking that it was going to, but if anything did, then a permaspike would have definitely been able to save us no matter what. Obviously, if things went terribly and a bad balloon got through with only being at half damage, then that obviously wouldn't have worked. But if we did have a permaspike, then I would have been really happy. Unfortunately, you'll find out that the money just wasn't there, and it was better for us just to fund that front end assault with lots of bomb shooters. You may have also noticed in our villages, the paths that we've chosen to do a discount village on both. That's because I really wanted to focus on putting as much power into that corridor as possible. That little gap between the two where they have the most range to be able to shoot at both sides of the track. Once one of it's coming in, as I just previously mentioned, and as it's coming round as well. As we've got that bomb shooter down to the top tier, that really helps with the fortified balloons, because we can't get anything to defortify. Usually I would use something like Alchemist's middle path to be able to take that fortification off, or we could use a mortar's bottom path. That would remove its reinforcement as well, but we can't. Both of those are very clearly monkeys and are clearly chimps, which would fully 100% go against the rules. So I may have bent the rules slightly using our hero, which, look at him, he's not a chimp. he quite clearly is a robot there. Well, he's a robot chimp. Are we still bending the rules? I don't know. You can see though that the idea of using the permaspike would have really helped, but going one tier down from the permaspike is still giving us a lot of protection, because if we didn't have those at the back there, it really would have been a nightmare, and yeah, no good. It would have literally just gone through and we would have lost. That's okay. We're on to 92 now and still got no problems. I do apologise if you can barely see what's going on through all of the explosions, but you can see the main plan is we've got those tack shooters, they're shooting, that's doing most of the cleanup damage. Our preemptive strike is still doing a lot of damage to be able to take the blimps down as much damage as possible, and our tack shooter is able to use its ability, and I'm still quite happy and confident with this. Pretty much with the setup we've got here, I'm happy that there is a good chance. We still haven't died yet, by the way, so we are still on for a black border. If you're wondering why I'm putting these little towers around the map, it's so that our sub has its sight ability, so that no matter where on the map, it's able to shoot. Usually you would use dart monkeys for this because they are the cheapest tower to do so, but unfortunately the dart monkeys can't be used again because they're quite clearly dart monkeys. So it costs us an extra 400 point there per tower, which actually does amount to quite a bit. If you think we've got 5 there at 400, that would be an extra 2k. But I'm not really sure what to spend my money on here rather than spamming smaller towers, because what else is it to buy that's really going to help with the money that we've got? Round 89 now, a very, very difficult round, and this, I believe, is the round that we went down to on our attempt one. It was either this one or 90... No, I'm pretty sure it was 98. Now, the reason that you go down to this a lot is because it's the amount of BFBs and everything else that piles onto you, and they're all reinforced as well. As you can see, we're gonna get overwhelmed here. I really hoped that we could black border this, but as you can see, they are sneaking through once again. So we have to go to the home, or else we would have lost. So we've made some minor changes now to the plan on how we're going to do it. Very, very minor changes, and that's enough to get us through. I'm hoping so anyway, but just adding more bomb shooters to be able to do more damage. The problem is we don't want to get them down to the bottom of stages as fast as we can. We want to kind of take them out one at a time. If we can take them out one at a time, we've got longer for the balloons to get right round the track. Whereas if we take them all out at once using big explosions, which is kind of what we're doing, but I don't want it to be at the same time, then you get the problem of them all getting clustered to the bottom and faster and faster and faster. Whereas when you've got slow balloons like those greens and the reds, once the blues, they kind of rapidly go through it. But as you can see, now that we have more bomb shooters being able to do more damage, they can get destroyed at the front end, because if they get past the front, then we've got no chance whatsoever. Still got quite a lot of issues, but at least they're down to balloons rather than blimps. And I think our one down from permaspike is going to save us only just. There's quite a lot of balloons there still. Are we going to survive? We are. Yeah, that's it. I'm happy with that. I'm confident. That's us beating round 98. Only 2 rounds to go now. 99 is pretty much going to be a breeze for us. The biggest problem with round 99, as you can see there, is the reinforced DDTs, but I'm hoping using the power of our monkey village, yeah, no problems whatsoever. Round 100, I'm not worried about whatsoever. I mentioned it earlier on what the plan is for round 100, which is do as much damage as possible, and then our preemptive strike has its ability there, which can kind of shoot its rockets into the air, shoot back down at that bad balloon, and they all blow up at once. Then we have nothing to worry about. No DDTs, no ZOMGs, no nothing. They should all disappear at once, provided that we can do enough damage to it before I activate that ability. And it doesn't look like we're going to have much of a problem for that. There we go, I activated there. I did activate it too soon, but it's alright. We've done it. We've beaten that challenge. Thank you very much for the challenge being submitted, but it was far too easy. I know we've got that hero monkey, but it is now completed. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Leave a comment if you've got any challenges you want me to take on. and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!